up 50 at practice. This shit is magic. Even my exhibition is classic. Funny, I ain't end up broke like you predicted. It's 1,000 niggas like you. No need to be too specific. I outmaneuver goofies like you with a few decisions. When the proof is missing, you get reduced to a euphemism. Shit, the truth is
which is the representation of hip-hop.
My nigga, I'm stupid gifted. This voodoo mixed with clear struggle and sheer hustle. I'm trying to stretch hands, strain me too long and I tear muscle. Nigga, where was you when we was down and we slaved in kitchens? With my homie putting cut on that bird like it's Cajun chicken. I'm amazing. They parade, but my crown wasn't made to fit them. You got signed off my signature style. That's plagiarism. I'm Miyagi with it. Try to kick it like I can kick it. You just begging to get buried alive, but I can dig it.
Doing pretty good.
I'm in a Honda Civic with lipsticks. I watch it listen, plot and listen. Get close enough that I can kiss him. Since he pessimistic,
I was just playing a little hip hop today.
They want that old day back. Yeah. What else we got, baby? Oh, you come on the LA Lakers show, man. We're gonna be fully prepared.
This is King Los. And let me look up his card.
Everybody in the 410. Yeah, man. Yo. That was just the warm-up. That was just the warm-up. Let's go. To hip-hop from Socrates. I'm top 5 in the 5th spot to mockery. The 5th pop, you do the Macarena, get rocked like Slipknot's discography. You click watching me, hoping I stumble. Your bitch watching me. You know it's a jungle. She like lions, not liars, nigga. I figured you be smoking a butter. Standing there drooling and tripping. You can only be humble. Just be a gentleman. And put your jacket over the puddle. You poodle, that pun was a puzzle. I just want to repulse you. You know, to keep them extensions.
Really?
With them buttons. Have fun with them double entendres. As I beg your pardon from the nonsense responsive. I'm non-responsive, just armed with a conscience that's in and out dimensions like triangular shape. Aside from these flying saucers, defying the laws of physics. My mind's like a luxury prison. Ain't no escaping these bars exquisite. I breathe laws, beat art exhibits. I'm black magic.
And
like
why you say that? Could you see the King of Clubs in them?
Don't forget, even that metaphor was a metaphor for how it's hard to get.
Very opinionated.
Oh, good Grand Rising, everyone. It's the Jack of Clubs Day. We call it hip hop. And I'm look at where we at in the US at age 64, right? I just like his intelligence. And like you said, he's a king of clubs. Just the way he put things together, intelligence that he walks with.
I mean, just to be in this light, you might need the work ethic of a Venus and Serena, then study the sun and Jupiter while Venus in between them. My city full of hustlers. You seen it.
Study the sun and Jupiter while Venus in between them. Mercy. All right. So I appreciate y'all. So let's go to age. Something happened with hip hop over the last year, specifically. And Jack of Clubs is the Riddler, hip hop, the representation of creative energy. You know, it sits Mars Uranus, right, Gina?
I believe so. It's a, the Jack of Clubs is... No,
Venus Uranus. Venus Uranus.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially the Uranus part, because of how kind of explosive the words can be, right? That's hip hop. It's a brilliant storytelling characteristic. A very expansive, intelligent, very clever this card is. The jacks are always the jack of all trades, and the clubs would definitely, I know a few jack of clubs, and they can do, and they're good at, building and creating, and they definitely can master or be a jack of all trades, do multiple different things. They can be know-it-alls. They have they definitely have an independent self-expression in their world building genius. Their words are very powerful. Their communication is very powerful. Sometimes it can seem like it's all over the place, even as well, too. You know, the Jack of Clubs is a very studious energy, I find. They're just they love. It's almost like they take the knowledge, they transmute it into their brain, and they spit it out their mouths. It's a very talkative energy too. You may find yourself talking a lot today. Great.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Someone called me. And what was the last thing you said?
I said it's a very talkative energy to the, Jack of Clubs. You may find yourself talking a lot today.
Oh yeah, most definitely. The Mercury card is the 9 of diamonds. So with that information, the downloads and information that you get, 9 is about dispensing, letting go. So they definitely have, I guess you say, a story to tell.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Have to speak the truth. Jacks can definitely be, all of us can be, for not speaking truth, we can be manipulative. So they very much need to speak the truth. They hold themselves accountable to what they know is true for sure. A lot of times they believe what they're saying, which is not a bad thing. They're storytellers. When sometimes the storytellers can come, fabrication, and you need to fluff the story a little bit. So they're very good with words. It's a very communicative card, I find.
Yeah, especially the Mars card is and like you said, the Jack of Clubs can be opinionated as well. They can be very stern in their belief systems, and as far as what they believe. And
well, yeah, that's why they think, why they know it. They think they know it all. It's because they have that King of Clubs in Jupiter.
Right. And I was saying we're going to look at hip hop. Let me bring up the age, because we always want to, I guess you can say, vibrate at the highest card, as we always talk about being a Jack of Clubs. So you want to vibrate at that King of Clubs. So
right.
Well,
they're definitely, their knowledge, they're thirsty for it. They want to know, that King of Clubs in Jupiter, they take it in, and then they, like I said, they process it in their brain, and then they come back out and they can tell a story with it. They could be very good. I find, we know that the 10 of Clubs, which we'll talk about tomorrow, makes good teachers, but I think the Jack of Clubs can also be a good teacher in a sense because of that King of Clubs in Jupiter. Mm-hmm. And then even that 2 of Clubs in Mars, they like to talk to other people. They can be aggressive in the way that they talk to other people with that 2 of Clubs in Mars. But it is about conversation with them. It's about communications. We know clubs are mental, they're communicative. And a Jack, they can play with their words. That's why, we can say it's the card for hip hop, because hip hop is a play on words. Mm-hmm. It's a flow. It's a flow, a beautiful flow, the way they can be very creative with it.
Right. Especially it's the King of Clubs is Uranus, and then they have that in Jupiter. So it's like a Jupiter Uranus conjunction, and like you're saying, the flow of it and the information that you get from it would be, knowledgeable, inspiring, inspirational, very poetic nature, as far as the things that, like, as you can tell, his lyrics, as when he was speaking from the King of Clubs perspective, you see how they in themselves have this poetic nature. So to have, like I said, whenever you have a card and then you yield that card in your spread, you can almost control that card better than that card can, because you're just living a piece of that life, or using a piece of that card, and you're not taking all of the negative traits per se from that card, you know. So for them to yield the King of Clubs and then also the Jack of Diamonds right after that, that would make them very knowledgeable, poetic, and demanding as well whenever they take stage or they get in front of people and dispense the information they have. It'll make you really pay attention to the value that they have. And the nine, like I said, the nine of diamonds is their Mercury card. So even if it's not within hip hop, the information that they would hold or dispense would be very valuable. You know, they should have very high values. The point of hip hop should be elevating to the King of Clubs. So, like you establishing your value system, you know, to fit into that dynamic where you can step into that light of the King of Clubs. And for the Jack of Clubs to have it in Jupiter, it makes it that much easier for them, and they feel very comfortable in that light. You know, they will feel protected, and they're going to want to step up into leadership or into that role, other than maybe I think was talking about the nine. Or were we talking about the nine of diamonds or the five of diamonds? As far as being pushed into leadership roles. So the Jack of Clubs would probably step into that light by themselves. You know, they'll probably feel pulled into that spectrum, into that light, and would probably find someone that would help them as well. You know, and Jupiter is also dealing with the study or elevation to knowledge, wisdom. Also can be who you may be taking your lessons or teachings from, or a physical guru that you may learn from as well. So the Jack of Diamonds is going into that King of Clubs and yielding that energy to project it, you know, and to feed off of the King of Clubs. So it yielding that information and knowledge would be you know, they use that to their advantage. You know, if you look at hip hop and how it is, I think it's a art form that's, you know, that's gonna last, stay around, and the people that's in that particular path or art form are very dominant nature. You know, like they have a very masculine tone to them. You know, very powerful, dominant, and opinionated within that particular culture. So you can kind of see how the Jack of Diamonds could take center stage and just take over the arena or where they are within life and be attractive based on their mental capabilities. You know, the responsibility of the Jacks, you know, is to take the information or be a passageway to the Queen and King, you know. So they would have to make someone very knowledgeable of, well aware of who they are and everyone else around them. So the Jack of Clubs using that King of Clubs would make sure that they're taking the right information and knowledge into the Queen and King, as far as like a rite of passage, I guess you can say. If that makes sense.
Yeah, well, you know, that they have the Jack of Diamonds in Saturn. So they do, it makes sense. You know, that's why we know that the Jack of Diamonds is very persuasive. So their words are persuasive. They're the things that they do, you know, especially with Saturn, that's, you know, they have to almost, you know, they can't get out of balance with that Jack of Diamonds. We know that Jack of Diamonds can be, you know, a little manipulative on the low side. But on the high side, you know, they're very intelligent people. They're very good at selling you. It's that power of persuasiveness, right? So not only does the fact that the Jack of Clubs is a Jack on itself, and then it has the Jack of Diamonds and Saturn, just really kind of gives you that full picture of why their words are so good, why they can speak, you know, so well, why they're so creative, why they're so studious, why they're very intelligent people. And then that Jack of Diamonds and Saturn is, you know, that power of persuasiveness. But we know with Saturn, you can't get too in your head with that power. Saturn will knock you right back down. So it has to be a balance with them. You know, what are they trying to persuade? What are they trying to, you know, sell you, really? But not that that's a bad thing, but what are they, you know, they have to, I think that's where the devil's advocate, the responsibility of what they say, what they're doing, plays a big part in it. Because we know that, you know, truth be told, we know that Jackson talk a bunch of bullshit. And that's all of them, you know. It's very true. I'm a Jack. I know we can very much persuade ourselves to get what we want, or persuade others to get what we want from them. That's the low side of the Jacks. You know, we can be persuasive. We can be, I guess you could say shady, if you will, to acquire what it is that we want from somebody. But I think with the Jack of Clubs having that Jack of Diamonds and Saturn, they have to do it on the high side. Because if not, I feel like they would, you know, there are repercussions, you know, if not, the low side of the Jack of Diamonds can be aggressive. It can be, you know, very get out of my way to give me what I want.
Oh yeah, most definitely. It was crazy. I was doing my write-up for a reading yesterday. And as I'm talking about writing about the Jack of Diamonds, guess who calls? The Jack of Diamonds. I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like you said, you just can't make this up at all. Like, yeah, you just can't make it up. That this particular person had the Jack of Diamonds in the sun this year. So, you know, the having in the sun position is like, all right, I'm establishing my territory, or looking at the sun and maybe wanting to establish my territory and find a base for myself, you know. Like you said, the Jack of Diamonds can be really aggressive as well, you know. They're pushed by the King of Clubs. So to have that the Jack of Diamonds and the Saturn position, and to go through the lessons of dominance, because like I said, academic can be a dominant person, very opinionated as well, and maybe stuck and fixed in their own ways also. What is the Jack of Diamonds? What's the Jack of Diamonds transfer? The Ace of Clubs. So we're talking about opinions.
Right.
That would make someone very, you know, that's the transformation card. So that's definitely going to make them feel like the information that they have is very valuable, you know? So not only you have the King of Clubs where you're getting groomed into the information, but then you have the Jack of Diamonds and Saturn. It's like, all right, all the information you have, what are you going to do with it? You know, how are you going to yield this particular energy, and making sure that, you know, you're strategic with that particular information that you have. And, you know, the Jack of Diamonds is the wheeler and dealer. So like you said, Jacks can take advantage. So being honest and truthful for the Jack of Clubs, you know, very big on honesty and being truthful, or going through life learning those particular lessons is very important. Just going again, looking at hip hop, looking at that particular culture, they're big on, you know, being authentic, you know, being honest and within the craft, and respecting the craft, and grooming yourself, putting in the work. Because the Jack of Diamonds, if they are very motivated, which they should be, they're going to put in that work, and like by any means necessary type of idea to get what they want, you know. Especially if you know your power, like you said, and they realize the power they have as far as the gift of gab. It's nothing that you're going to feel like you can't get, you know.
Oh yeah, no, they go after what they want. You know, I find that that's one of the powers of the Jacks too, is they go after what they want. And is the Jack of Clubs transformation card is the Queen of Hearts, right?
Yep. Yeah, definitely looking at that dynamic, because the Jack of Clubs, and I know I was in the room yesterday for a little while with Leo Rosin and Miss Nina about the masculine and feminine principles as far as the cards and or gender within the cards. And I was thinking about the Jack of Clubs. I was like, that's very interesting, because if you was to look at hip hop and take the Jack of Clubs into the light of hip hop, what does that say about a misogynistic industry in the Jack of Clubs? You know, and with this transformation being the Queen of Hearts, so the karma that they have is to women, or the attraction that they have is to women. But how are they yielding that? You know, it's definitely on the low side of the Queen of Hearts. Wouldn't you say?
Sorry. What'd you say?
I was saying the way that the Jack of Clubs within the hip hop industry, the responsibility they have towards women, almost, or towards that Queen of Hearts, is on the low side. You know, it's very karmic as far as the relationship that they have with women within the industry. As far as hip hop.
Sure, I can see, that Queen of Hearts, is a very sexy card, right? Let's be honest. The sexy card, it has a lot of that energy around it. And that's, what do we know that sex sells?
Right.
So that's why hip hop has always been, and there's a sexiness to it because it sells. That's what sells. And unfortunately, a lot of the really good hip hop goes not on the radio waves, because if it's not talking about specific things, they don't put it out there, because obviously they need it to sell. So unfortunately, what we get to listen to, but now we have streaming, talking about back in the 90s when hip hop was actually really good. There was, it was very sexy. If there's a sex energy to it, that makes sense with the Jack of Clubs having the Queen of Hearts as its transformation card.
And not only that, just looking at the placement is Venus Uranus. So, so that make you that puts a unusual interest as far as how you feel sexually, or what you're attracted to. The Jack of Clubs can probably be very, I guess you say, how you say it, promiscuous, or is that the right word? Yeah, curious.
Yeah, there's a promiscuous energy. There's a very sexual energy. There's, and that's what it is. It's wordplay, right? It's seductive. That's the word. It's seductive. And that makes sense. The Jack of Diamonds and Saturn is persuasive. The Queen of Hearts makes you seductive. So you can, get in the drawers.
To get in the drawers.
With your words. And then put behind it, and it's even easier.
Right. Yeah. And just to think about not just hip hop music overall, the system of rhyming, and like you said, putting a beat behind it. It just does something.
Make it sound sexy.
Make it right. Because let's just look at it. Like, women love the idea of the Jack,
Yep.
It could be something that it can, be a especially a Jack of Clubs, Uranus, Venus. That's very passionate, probably energy that one would come with, but very unique and creative in what they want and the way they're going to display their affection towards you. All right, let's say it'd be a night to remember.
Right. Well, and it just shows for today, people on the call, how this might show up for you today is you have the power of your words today, power of your thoughts. You can use the same energy to kind of get what you want, right? You can be that persuasive person today. If there's, something at work that you want, or there's something you want to go after, today's a day, because they have a very, they're good with words. It's wordplay. So, maybe even change up your communication, or put the power of that Jack of Diamonds behind it and persuade somebody to get what you want. It's the sexy of the Jack of Clubs.
Mm-hmm. Make it look
even in your
good.
business, you can do it. You know, it's a great way to, great card to communicate with, to sell. You know, all Jacks have that power of, you know, of selling. You know, we very much can, you know, use the power of the Jack to, you know, get what we want in certain cases. And today with that energy, you know, that it's supporting you. You know, you can, you know, even if your own daily card, your own card, if you're not a Jack at all, but everybody has the opportunity to tap into it today. Mm-hmm. So use your words, be creative with them. You know, knowing this as you go out today, it's very helpful because now you're like, oh, okay, I've got the power of conversation with me. You know, I have the power of words. And especially if you're trying to, you know, get something or acquire something or use it for a financial advantage, it's a great day to do it.
Mm. And looking at the Two of Clubs aspect, people, like you said, people are going to want to talk. You know,
yes.
People are going to want to conversate, and they're not going to want to talk for no reason. They're searching and looking for some information. You know, they want to know something, or they probably want to buy something. Looking at hip hop, God, spend the money. Let's say about you know, the Jack of Clubs. People are probably going to spend money, or there's going to be something very nice and unique that you're going to see and that you're just going to want to buy. It's going to look amazing. Like, oh snap, that looks dope. Let me definitely buy that. Because Jack of Diamonds is in is a Saturn card. So they're going to spend some money. Jack of Diamonds, if they may be tight, but they're going to spend money on what they like. You know, if they see something that they like and they're interested in, they don't have no problem with spending the money to get what they want. You know, especially if you got it or if you don't got it, you know you're going to get it.
Would you think that Jack of Diamonds and Saturn though would make them a little bit more conservative with how much they spend their money
on? I don't know, because you have the Nine of Diamonds in Mercury, so
true.
Yeah, so money may just blow out your hand, you know. So,
but I wonder if it makes them just a little bit more reserved. You know, just a little bit more. Not on like I wouldn't want to say like, you know, they're cheap because like you said, they have that Nine of Diamonds and Mercury. So maybe they before they just blow their money, they think about it really hard first.
Yeah, money management. I would say because just because because it is a Jack, is less on the management part, probably, or more on the fun and you know, fun part.
About myself. No. Someone needs to manage me. Shit. But yeah, I think it's interesting that when you look at their spread and how you really can see their life path. You can see, you know, the why they are, their communication and the power of the cleverness of them. Mm-hmm. You know, like you said, that Two of Clubs and Mars, they love it's conversation. It can be aggressive, like aggressive conversation. You know, because we know Mars is our is that ignition, it's that drive, that passion, and so wordplay. You know, they fight with their words. They're not going to put, you know, they might not put their hands on you, which, you know, thank God, but their power is in their tongue. Mm. You know, and their knowledge it's generated, right? They're generators of knowledge. I find that's a good one. The cleverness of them, and sometimes they're in their imagination is, you know, way out there because like sometimes they can get lost in their own imagination. And that's when I find that their words can come out in that flow, in that poetic flow, in that hip hop flow, and not just creative flow, because they're so imaginative in their head, they spew it out in their words. Mm. And then they have that Two of Clubs can also have that argumentative, you know, that very argumentative. That's how you say that word. There's a pride to that. Yeah. You know, they'll argue with you, especially if they, you know, feel that they're right or whatever. that Two of Clubs, we know, can be a card of argumentation. And to have it in Mars, it can make them very aggressive. That's why they're aggressive with their words. That's why, sometimes even with hip hop,
the rap battle,
a form of aggressive. Right? The words that come out, there's power behind them. Yeah. So that makes sense that it's a very, it's a storyteller. The Jack of Clubs is a storyteller. And they tell stories from their imagination and the thoughts in their mind. And they put it out, whether it's on paper, because even spoken word or poetry can be, very conducive to the Jack of Clubs energy.
And they have that in Mars, so very aggressive as far as how they get their message across, and what they said, and passionate. What makes the Two of Clubs so passionate is that King of Hearts is the supporting karma card. As a King of Hearts or any king, you're going through life taking over your territory, finding that ground, establishing yourself, and being authoritative as far as the way you present yourself, and finding that passion that pushes you and drives you, and focusing that passion into one particular light or medium almost, or yielding in many different lights. You kind of have between the King of Diamonds and King of Hearts is almost like you have options. It's like, what do you want to do in life? So with that particular passion from the King of Hearts to the Two of Clubs, and make them very passionate about whenever they're speaking with someone, or the way they conversate with people on a personal level, on a one-to-one basis or personal level, it'll make them sound aggressive. And that's where they may attract their enemies, because they may attract frenemies. Or I know we said that before, because you have that Seven of Spades also in the Venus card. So that can give you kind of that you have the King of Hearts and the King of Diamonds as the negative karma card for the Seven of Spades. So you're looking at the King of Diamonds as, the king off with your head, or people coming for you, so that may put you in the limelight, or in a position where, based on the conversations that you have, you may become a target. People may come for you. Maybe associates, friends, and family may feel like a drag or a drudgery as far as taking care of them, or just having to have that mentality of letting people be people within, your close relatives or associates around you. Because you may be wanting to save everyone, almost, and trying to help people out around you that just may not want to, may not see that light in you. So you may have to kind of leave them behind almost. So the Jack of Diamonds, and also out of all the cards, the Jack of Diamonds and the Four of Hearts is the only card that has the same card as their karma card, except for the Eight of Clubs, Jack of Hearts, and King of Spades. So we're talking about that Jack of Diamonds and Saturn. Well, the challenging karma card is the Jack of Diamonds. You see, so with them, I know we're talking about spending money in the Jack of Diamonds. It's definitely an investor, first of all, establishing yourself business-wise. So let's look at hip-hop and looking at the business aspect of it. They have to take control of their craft and that overall. If you don't take control of your craft, what you're gonna see the karma come back around, that you haven't learned your lesson and you haven't established yourself as a place of business and using what you do or your art form as establishing yourself as a business, I guess you can say, because Jack of Diamonds is a business person on the high side, if they're not scary. If they step up into that position of leadership and yield that Jack of Diamonds, you can definitely going through life trying to yield that Jack of Diamonds and learning that lesson, reaping the karma of taking control of yourself and establish yourself as a person of genius and establish yourself as a business person, and maybe not being the jack of all trades or trying not to, and focusing that passion into one place, but definitely yielding yourself establish yourself as very productive, I guess you can say. So with the popularity of a jack of clubs, using your conversation today, establishing your business in a very poetic, capturing nature is beneficial. You know, whenever you hold in the jack of clubs, that'll make you very attractive in nature overall. So one of the 4 parts for the jack of clubs, trying to find your tribe, exploring the world, going out and establishing yourself through the world and finding like-minded people. You know, the 4 of hearts is about the family. You know, the jack of clubs probably has a unusual network of people that may be similar with or within the same light and nature of them. You know? It's the 4 of hearts, 6 Mercury, Neptune. So communicating through and within the family, or having this family aspects to them, will make them very, I guess you say, that much more attracted as far as to women or females, because they probably love family or love the nature of having a family like environment, but it's probably a struggle as well, because it's Uranus, and then you sitting Uranus Venus. So it will give the home life an unusual home life, you know, maybe even a party at the crib, you know, overall. So with the jack of clubs, it's also a family fun nature type of person, unusual. You're not going to get something that's just standard out of the jack of clubs. It's going to be something that's very group oriented, especially it has the 10 of hearts with it as well. So the love of having people that you love around you, you know, you just want to be around like-minded people and love the associates, and having a family environment, you know, like a clique. You know, the jack of clubs or hip hop is very cliquish, you know, establishing people or having a tribe around you would make the jack of clubs a very cliquish type of person, almost in a way. And it's establishing that through the values, because the 4 of hearts has values with the Mercury 4 of diamonds. So having people with like values around you. So the values that the jack of clubs has is in Pisces. So they carry this mentality between the 9 of diamonds and the 4 of diamonds, and establishing their values and staying firm on that, you know, having principles about themselves and understanding their principle and displaying their principles from a place of comfort, and the information and values that they have and they develop over time it makes them comfortable, you know, puts them in a place where they kind of need a strong value system. So with that, you graduate into the King of Clubs. So with you establishing that strong sense of value system, would put you in the limelight of the King of Clubs, and being able to take control of of you being pushed into, not pushed, but you stepping into that limelight of authority and establishing yourself as a person with confidence. I guess you could say.
I agree with that. I find them to be very confident people when they, vibrate to that higher side. I'm sorry, I mute myself in and out, but I'm trying to get my ace of clubs out for school and she's not cooperating. So, yes, they very much, I find them to be very confident people, the ones that I've met. I know I grew up with twin boys that are jack of clubs. I didn't know that obviously back then, but I'm like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. But just knowing them and how their confidence, and even as younger, they were very, they knew their shit. And even in their business now, what they do, they're very confident in what they do, and they do it very well. And, I see it play out. It's real interesting.
Yeah. And what would you say, or would you describe the 4 diamonds as confident?
I find them to be you know, yes, you know, there's a solidness about them. And I think with solid comes confidence. You know, you kind of, and not all of them, you know, as they grow and mature, I find it that, you know, that confidence can come in. But yes, I think to be a 4, there has to be that stability, and with, I think, stability comes the confidence and just the stableness that they have. You know, there's a stable energy about that, and I find that to be, you know, it can be.
Does that mean? No, my thing keeps saying poor connection.
That's what happened to me yesterday. I tried to switch from my phone to the iPad, and when I got on the iPad, it had that poor connection, and I couldn't hear anybody. I couldn't get in the room. I tried to close out; it wouldn't let me back in. So I just sat there. Like, I'm not meant to participate today. I tried multiple times. And then it was at the end that I was able to come back in, and Diamond was finishing the room. I was like, whoa.
Oh, so you came in there.
I couldn't, yeah, at the beginning I was there, and then obviously, you know, I mute myself because I'm getting my child ready for school. But when I tried to switch from my phone to the iPad, it would not, and I tried to go back to the phone. Clubhouse was not having me. Did not want me yesterday. So, yeah.
What was your card yesterday?
Mine or my card yesterday was the Ace of Clubs.
Oh, I was just thinking. I was like, you must have like an Ace of Clubs type of day.
My Mars card was my Mars day yesterday too.
Oh wow. Okay, that makes sense. Whenever you're looking at the Ace of Clubs, just another cue or key. We're talking about clubs, so we'll probably talk about it more. On the Ace of Clubs, or when you see an Ace of Clubs, there may be a disruption as far as through your devices or technology, I guess you can say. Almost, I guess you say like a Mercury retrograde, but not like a Mercury.
That's what I thought. All the stuff like yesterday was so weird for me. Technologically wise, you already know, if you know me, technology and me are not the best of friends. And that was yesterday. I'm like, I know Mercury's not retrograde. I was born. In my chart, Mercury's retrograde, so I'm always me and technology. It's funny. I'm a whole trip with this shit, but that was me yesterday. Like, things just technologically wise were not working out for me. And now, yeah, Ace of Clubs, that was my Mars day yesterday. So there you have it. And then me and my youngest was the Ace of Clubs. You know, she's 6.5, but she's coming to that age where, you know, the cuteness is fading and she's becoming more, you know, combative. And I'm like, oh my sweet baby. Why do you want to? No, I'm not ready. Yeah, it's been interesting with her.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I find that whenever you're looking at the card, especially on your Mars day, that's the one day that I look out for is my Mars day, just based on, you know, having those issues with just people and being combative, because that is very much real. You know, that's what kind of opened my eyes up to astrology is when things manifest as far as the energy and how it plays out. And that's why we're doing what we're doing today, right?
Yep. That makes sense. Maybe I wasn't meant to speak yesterday because my words may have been too, you know, maybe I just wasn't, the universe was protecting me in my mouth. But yeah, I couldn't get on. You know, yesterday was an interesting day for me. So yeah, that's funny. But it is true when you look at knowing your Mars day or knowing, you know, like today is my Jupiter day. It definitely helps because you can see why certain things may or may not happen for you.
What card do you have in your Jupiter day today?
The Queen of Spades.
Oh, snap. Okay. That's a powerful energy for today. What are your plans as far as how you looking to use the Queen of Spades and Jupiter?
Well, I know, like, I really need to just things around my house. I know she's pushing me to get some things done. My home, I need to get more organized, I just got a whole delivery of products, so it's sitting all over my living room, and I need to get it all put away. It's just mastering that self, like really tapping into just getting my environment more organized is causing me anxiety. Because there's boxes everywhere, and I just have to unpack them all. I have to put them away, and I just haven't had a chance to do it, and it's driving me nuts. So I will spend my day doing that, and then just doing things that I need to get my car cleaned. I need to get my house. My house needs to be clean, and this energy will push me to do it because I need to master. When your environment isn't stable, I guess, or feeling very cluttered right now for me, it'll make me anxious. And so I have to master that. I've got to, that's what I'm going to do. Once I get back from dropping her off at school, I'll, hit the ground running with this stuff. I've got orders to ship, and I've got to get my living room situated so the boxes aren't everywhere. And then, just take care of those things that make me feel better in my environment. And that, and it's been a very interesting week. I have my long range card is the 7 of spades. That one's been dragging me a little bit, but I'll make it through.
Yeah, that's a mouthful in itself. I had that's my transformation for this year as well. Yeah. So, and I actually, my roommate is a 7 of spades as well.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and not only and his girlfriend's a 7 of clubs.
Wow.
So, that dynamic is quite interesting. I'm learning a lot about the 7 of spades. It's a 7 of spades Capricorn. So that, and all of these, and it's interesting because that's your long range card. That's my transformation card, and I have the 10 of hearts as my card today.
Interesting.
Yeah,
it's just for this week, and it's so interesting how the weeks when the weeks show up, and I look at the cards, and I'm like, okay. But the moment that this week started for me, it was like, well, like I'm being dragged. I'm like, I don't wanna. But I know the 7 of spades can be, I've been even just driving. We know it can represent sometimes an accident. It needs you to pay attention. So I've been very, adamant about paying attention on the road. And then I can even just the few days I've been driving this week to, back and forth, the aggressiveness that's out there. It's like, wow. So, I understand it's wanting me to go within and really try to do that work. That's what those spades are. It's that work. It's that mastering yourself. And if you don't, that's why you can feel like you're being dragged. So obviously I have things to work on, and I know my house and my environment is one of the biggest things because it can cause me a lot of anxiety. So I have to get it done. It's just I avoid a lot of things. I don't want to do it, but I have to because I don't like the way it feels. And so I have to get it done. And that'll be something that I work on this week. And that's, it's interesting how the cards all lay out and how they all kind of come through. And like I said, last week was fun. We were on vacation. It's like, okay, now it's like, okay, now get your shit together.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Well, that didn't help.
Right. It's like, I don't want to come back and do this, but I have to because just the function in my house, it's when my whole business is in my house, and I've been trying to move to a bigger house because I'm grateful, but it's consuming my living room, and I need to be able to have more space so that it doesn't invade that that quaint environment that I have. And so the products, the packing and the shipping of everything, which is awesome, but it's just your environment is huge. If your environment's not copacetic, for me, it gives me anxiety. And so I have to be able to get it together. It's just I can be lazy and I don't want to do it, but I know I have to. I have to. It's pushing me because it's screaming at me like, please put us away.
No, it makes perfect sense. Especially having a Queen of Spades Day. You should have that because it's looking at it. So you have the Queen of Spades. Like I said, it's crazy as far as how it flows. You have the Queen of Spades. His Mercury card is the Jack of Clubs.
There you have it. Yeah.
So and then So you have that, and so going into that, that the Saturn card is the Saturn card, since Jupiter is the Jack of Clubs, since the King of Clubs is Jack of Jupiter card, the Queen of Spades is the Queen of Clubs is the Queen of Spades Saturn card. So the sense of that responsibility that one has, So
yeah, and when it's done, I'll feel better. It's just the process. That's all.
Yeah.
But it'll get better because I know today for sure. Because if I do it, the reward, like I'll feel much better, and you'll feel, it just it opens up more space to be able to kind of do more things. It's just spades, we know, are the work. I've got to do the work. So that's what I'm going to be working on here shortly.
And the Four of Hearts and Four of Diamonds is the Queen of Spades, Neptune, and Pluto card. So as you're saying, like clearing out your home, clearing out your environment, creating space so you can, and getting organized, because the Four of Diamonds house is amazing. Whenever you see a Four of Diamonds or you go to their home space, they have to have, like you said, a clear area, a clear space, a clear mental, a clear space, so they can just feel like they can think clear, because you have 2 files as your karma cards. That's anxiety. It's like super anxiety. Like how can you probably feel like you're bouncing it all around, so you need space to kind of move how you want to move and to flow fluidly, so that is an requirement almost, is to clear out your space. I want to look up the card for Feng Shui. I know we kind of was talking about that yesterday. I don't know why we was talking about, what was we, maybe the Five of Clubs, maybe. But the flow of things. But yeah, so Feng Shui is, oh yeah, I think Leo Rising made me think about the sense of Feng Shui when he was talking about the fluidity of your space and having a good space and cleaning out your space, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong when y'all come up here. But just that essence of having a tight space and cleaning out your space so you can manifest and the energy can kind of flow. I feel like a Four of Diamonds feels that and gets that very much so. And they have their King of Clubs. The transformation for the Four of Diamonds is what? Is the Ten of Spades. So that's the Queen of Clubs Mercury card. So yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Really does, And it's interesting, just like what you were saying with me having that Queen of Spades as my Jupiter card today, the more that I clean out, the Queen of Spades is the master manifester. Mm-hmm. So I can't manifest anything with all this clutter, right?
Right.
So I need to get that in order today, and it'll make me feel better, and then when you vibrate to that energy, just, things being in place or just being cleaned up, because you then allow more stuff in, you open yourself up to more possibilities. You can look at it as that stuff that's sitting all over my floor right now is blocking any energy. You talk about Feng Shui, then I'm blocking energy from coming into this house or into my space because there's clutter. So that's another way to kind of view it too. The Queen of Spades, is that self-master. She's a master manifester. She's a generator. And I can't generate shit with all this stuff everywhere. And it really will push me to get it done. Because I see knowing that, it's like, okay, get it done and the reward will come. Whether that's more orders or whatever the case may be, I'm going to open myself up. I'll open that energy up, and then I can do more or manifest more for myself. And it's when my house is in shambles, and it's not that it's in shambles, it's just stuff needs to be put away, then I will feel more at peace. And when you're at peace, it's like you can bring more things to you. Even in your own internal Feng Shui, right? It has to kind of be aligned for you to be able to really bring forth more blessings and more manifestation power.
Right, exactly. Because it's the Queen of Spades has the Four of Hearts Neptune. So definitely, like you said, feeling comfortable within your own space and your environment, mentally, and spiritually and physically, would be the manifestation of that. And the Four of Hearts is going to, like we said, is going to clean house. They are going to clean house, and make everything that they want aware or put on Front Street is going to come into that light, if either you like it or not, whether you like it or not. Looking at the Four of Hearts year, it's interesting, having us being on lockdown during this particular time is forcing you to go within, and clean out those particular past roots, traumas and dramas, and really get a hold of who you are internally, establishing those values that you hold, and getting to the deeper roots of issues and problems and bringing it into the light. I wouldn't say that's the first card that goes into the sun line, but it definitely goes into the sun line. So, going from Neptune being the first card in Neptune, Mercury, and having that flow of working all the way through Neptune and going into the sun, So you got to look at that flow of unfolding unconscious trauma and fears and past life things internally for yourself, and bringing it into light so you can fix it, because the 10 of club is going to get it. It's Mr. Fix It. And making sure everything is in correct order, and establishing that dominance and territory, and making sure everything is proper and is in the proper place, I guess you can say. So today, the Queen of Spades pushes the Jack of Clubs. So for the Jack of Clubs, that is one thing that you should look at, is how do you use that Queen of Spades, or how is that pushing you within your home life and within life period, So that's also an energy today, cleaning up your space so you can manifest things that you want, and get a clear thought pattern and train of thought around you.
And cleaning up your mind too.
In your mind,
clean up the clutter in your head. Knowing that the Jack, the club specifically, are very mental and communicative, and the Jack at that, they can be sometimes all over the place. So it's really too about cleaning up those thoughts and directing them to what you want.
Yeah. Like you said, they can be all over the place. But that's the power of the Jack. You have, I know we talk about karma and people, and some of those particular cards that don't have no karma. I kind of look at the Jack as that, because you have the power to go this way or that way. It's the one and the one. It's you and yourself, and you ultimately make the decision if you want to go on the high side of things or on the low side of things. What do you want to do? It's like you having that conversation of, I can be this negative person in this light and probably still yield the power as if I took the high road. If I wanted to go off and do something horrible, I'm gonna probably do it in its best in the best manner I could. I guess you can say, as far as like hip hop, if you want to be negative, they're gonna take it to the extreme and may get away with it because they're a Jack, because they yielded that karma themselves and probably got out of it in some way or form. So what is the karma that you want? What's the road that you want to take today? Where are you trying to manifest, and where are you trying to go? Because it's going to come alive, with that Queen of Spades. It's going to become real and in your face. There's a lot of power that you can yield today, and you have the choice, like you said, it can be a challenge, or you can go with the flow and let people be people almost. especially it had the 7 of spades and the 8 of hearts in that lineup. So you definitely got to have this sense of letting people be people when they want to take the low side, because you're going to have that option today of where you want to stand within that light. So you want to take the high road or the low road. You know, you want to clean your area, or you're just going to leave it there and be lazy.
I can't. No, it's got to be done. It's got to be done. It's got to be nuts. But yeah, and that's it. You know, it'll push. It's that. Yesterday, I could have done it yesterday, but yesterday was it was just not. I don't know. I know there's some stuff happening up in the cosmos, and I think I felt it because I was just frustrated yesterday with everything, especially when I couldn't get back on. It was just started first thing in the morning, so I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna fight this. I'm just gonna let it be and let it kind of play out. Because I was very irritated yesterday, and that's such strong Mars energy. My Mars in my chart is in Gemini, and I know there's a Mars is in Gemini now, so I'm like, damn, like, man. Maybe it's best I stay away from people. Because I'm about to cut somebody's head off with my words. So yeah, let me stay, in my little cave and not nobody bother me, and I'll be good, and I won't viciously verbally attack anybody. Because I know how powerful my words are. That is my thing. That's something I work very hard on. It's not, using my words in a lashing out type way. But yeah, if you it's one thing I've definitely spent a lot of time on is watching what I say and how I say it, because I know I can be very powerful with my words. Yeah, especially if I'm angry.
Yeah, you can definitely cut people.
Yeah, I definitely can cut people with words, and I know that. I know that very well, and so I very much actively. I choose my words carefully a lot now, better than what I used to do, because it's not very conducive to people when you verbally abuse them. But when I was younger, and I've always, prior to me even having a business, I was in the restaurant hospitality industry, bars, nightclubs, hotels, catering. I've done it all. And so I know I have the gift of gab. I'm very good at talking. That's one of my things. I can, that Jack persuasiveness. But I also know, because I've had to have such tough skin with being a female in that industry, especially in the bar industry. And I used to bartend I bartended in Ybor City, right? Mm-hmm. And you can't be soft skinned. You can't be, you have to be a bitch, because you dealt with a lot. I mean, I've had people try to throw drinks at me. Oh, wow. You get a lot of aggressiveness, especially with people drinking. So I will go toe to toe with you. Like I'm the wrong one. And that used to come out in my words, and people would want to fight me. The things I can say to you, but that'll make you feel real small. And I don't mean to, but you push me. It's not something that I just do. You have to push me to get that verbal lashing from me. And I could be real slick with it too. And you'll be like, damn, did she just say that to me? She said it with a smile. That's why I did very well in that industry, because I was not, people are like, you're such a tough skin. I'm like, yeah, because you deal with a bunch of bullshit. Like, I'm not gonna be over here letting you manipulate me or get your way with me. I'm not the one. And that's why I did really well, because sometimes people want to test you. They want to see how much they can take advantage of you. If you stop them in their tracks, they're not gonna be able to get very far.
Oh yeah, especially a Jack of Hearts. So you have that karma overall. So that's very tough. From people trying to test you and probably trying to take advantage of you.
All the time.
That makes a lot of sense.
I had to be very stern with that, and but I was one of the most successful bartenders there because I didn't put up with the bullshit. But I made the most money because I am very, I'm friendly. I'll talk to you, I'll smile at you, I'll wink at you, whatever you need. Here's your drink. But you're not gonna not, I was very aggressive too. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun in that industry for a long time. But then you get tired of it too. I had a guy, I can tell you stories for days, the things that I've seen and dealt with, but it makes you tough. It really kind of can make you you deal with people in a way. You see them, a lot of times they're drinking, so you're dealing with like almost an alternate personality. and because they're clouded with the alcohol, you're not even really getting them. You're getting this alternate personality, and it can be abusive or it can be sloppy. It just depends on who you're dealing with. You have to deal with so many different ones of them at one time sometimes that you kind of just put up a wall because they want to tear it down. It was fun though, but I know my words, and I know the power of my words for sure. You need me to undo the knot? Oh, all right. That's Brooklyn, everybody. I'm gonna mute myself real quick.
No, yeah, you're fine. So looking at the Jack of Hearts, the Jacks overall, you can kind of see the the responsibility of your words, knowing that you have a responsibility of how you present yourself, and then also just because of the Jack of Hearts has that complex of people taking advantage of them. The Seven of Clubs has that Seven of Spades in their Venus card, so they also have that karma as well, as far as people seeing the I can say the wealth behind them, and seeing how they may be, or they may want to help people out, because the Seven of Hearts, Seven of Diamonds, and having those seven of clubs all in one card can make one very giving, or in a manner, or in a sense, because the Nine of Diamonds is also their Mercury card, so they much so are humanitarians. That's it, Venus, Uranus. So the Jack of Clubs is a humanitarian. Also, at the end of the day, they're going to fight for people. They're going to stand their ground and make sure that they're heard, and they have some type of, or they're going to know the power that they have as far as the responsibility they have for people, and using their words and power and intelligence in the correct manner on the high side. So the Jack of Clubs also have that detriment as far as helping people out, or maybe getting taken advantage of, because of the love, and people can see the power that they hold and the ability of manifestation behind them. So they're definitely a humanitarian, but also have to look out for that king complex of being targeted as well. So for the Jack of Clubs, and has, repetitive sixes going into the Neptune line, and those sixes, you can look at a six and be like, oh, that's just Saturn is slow, but that's aggressive. That can be aggressive energy as well. Competitive energy has a lot of pressure behind the sixes overall, so that definitely gives you somewhat of a warlike characteristics in certain ways. The Jack of Hearts has Mars, the Six of Hearts. Six of Hearts is Mars. So looking at the Christ principle, and looking at it Mars, and looking at the balance in it, it's like, okay, eye for eye almost. If you're not careful on whenever you're looking at it, it's like, all right, you can get even if you want to. So that gives you, so you can see, it's like, Gina was saying, like, okay, you're gonna be an a-hole. I can be an a-hole too. And I'm not gonna take
right back, like it's not a problem. That's your a-hole. And it's only if you come to me like that, right? Like, I'm really nice, I'm really dope when it comes to this, I'm real cool, until you come to me like that, you're gonna get it right back. And that is that Six of Hearts, and that's my Uranus card. It comes unexpected, like, oh, I didn't think you could be like that. Don't push me. It's true. It's interesting when you look at it like that, because but as you get older, a lot of that stuff, you realize sometimes it's not even worth arguing with people anymore sometimes, because you realize that it's not you, it's them.
Yeah.
I learned to calm it down, because it's just not worth my energy. I just don't even entertain it anymore. Plus, I'm not even in that space anymore, so I don't even really deal with people except through the internet now.
And you don't even you're not even on camera.
I know, I love it.
Oh gosh. Just the karma of the cards is hilarious. It's like you bring back the six of clubs into the chaotic spread and Mars, and you're supposed to be balanced. And it's the Christ principle. That was a joke. That was a sick joke. Who did that?
Yeah, exactly. But I think it gives you though, because being that, it's people come to you, right? And I think it
Right,
gives
yeah.
you that shield.
Mhm.
Advantage of us and manipulate us because of that love energy, that very powerful healing energy that people come to us for.
Mhm.
But if you don't have the boundaries with those 9s and that 6, you will get taken advantage of. And it's taken me a long time. I'm 41, so I didn't have the boundaries before. But I'm working. Something I strive for every day is because you want to help people. Like that's just the energy that I am. I want to help people. It's my nature. It's always been my nature to be in service. But if you don't have those boundaries, people will take advantage of that nature. Not everybody. Not everybody's out to take advantage. But they're good.
And looking at it, and I'm also on YouTube as well. This will be broadcasted. I was going to do a day or two after, but I'll probably just post them right after, as far as us speaking. And I will be turning it off when you all come up and speak as well. So it's keeping that private. And just the essence of you just have to be here. So make sure people come and show up because you just have to be here. But looking at the 6th house, I did Google, so you all can see when the information is so dope as far as learning astrology. It makes everything a lot easier. But the 6th house is hidden enemies. So looking at it from that perspective, looking at the 6th house and looking at Mars, there's definitely a sense of enemies and depth of friends, as it says, and partners in life, and working with people and being of service. Okay, so I always say sometimes you get the most hate whenever you're trying to help somebody else. People are not appreciative, and it seems like everybody else is like looking at you like, what is he doing? So for the Jack of Clubs, they have their guru card and the cosmic moon, the 6 of clubs and the 6 of spades. So that would give them the that aggressive, diplomatic type of energy and trying to be fair with people. But it has a 6 of spades. So you have the 6 of hearts, 6 of diamonds, and the 6 of clubs, all of them. Mercy, yeah. So it has double sixes all in one card. So what would that mean for the Jack of Clubs, and trying to be fair with people, and establishing yourself and helping people out and being of service, almost in the 6 and the 6 of spades pushes the Queen of Hearts. So that service-oriented mentality and going from Uranus to Venus and being the humanitarian for people. So that's the Jack of Clubs in a nutshell, I guess you can say, as far as the energy you'll see today. Because also fighting for people's rights, sticking up for people, and having and displaying those senses of values in the conversations that you have today. Today is also, the clubs are all about the politics of things as well, looking at the political thoughtfulness of the clubs in itself. So that's the energy for today and how you're going to see it manifest and use it as being thoughtful, using it towards your business, disseminate information based on the values and investing. One of the key prime things I look at are celebrities, because with celebrities, you have the way that energy manifests is definitely on a higher level. I know we talk about celebrities as far as being, because I think the Jack of Diamonds has or the United States has some Leo aspects. I don't know. I think there's some Kissa may want to come up on. Maybe we can look at that at another light or within those clubs. If maybe I can inspire you all to look at the celebrities of America. But the new celebrity is the humanitarian, I think, and the spiritualists are the new celebrities. But the nine of diamonds in that, what was I going with this? But I totally lost where I was going with this. But yeah, the Jack of Clubs, the humanitarian, and the new celebrity is the humanitarian, I think, and the spiritualist. So the Jack of Clubs is definitely a spiritualist as well, as far as the light that it holds and shines, because it has that Queen of Spades pushing it, the Seven of Spades, and this Venus card, and with the Nine of Diamonds. So those humanitarian aspects and helping people and being the spiritualist on the high side. So today is another spiritual day. Whenever you look into the clubs, you still have those spiritual concepts, but putting it into action and recognition from the spiritual concepts that you have and speaking it in a sense. So, and definitely from the Seven of Spades, mercy, that six of clubs will make them go on forever. But that's another light. Let me not touch on that. But let me bring some people up. Are there any questions today, or how do you all feel? Or how your morning been? Any Jack of Clubs?
Do you have the hand raising thing going on? Oh,
yeah. Hey, Grand Rising, how you doing, Jordan?
Grand Rising. First things first, I want to say thank you to you both. You have shed a lot of light. I am a Jack of Clubs, and I missed it. I missed you guys speaking on it the first time around for my birthday in January, but I knew I had to get into the day because I just got a reading from Diamond maybe 2 weeks ago, and she shed a lot of light. But let me just tell you how funny it all is. Not only am I a Jack of Clubs, my fiance is a Jack of Diamonds, and we created a Six of Clubs.
Oh wow,
So
that's awesome.
Wow.
I'm telling you, the energy is amazing. Not to mention today is my Two of Clubs day, so that is conversation. So again, it's just I'm learning as you guys are talking, and it's making so much sense, and I'm so excited to just take in all of this knowledge because now I know exactly what I need to do. And I set a goal for myself because I know I'm always in my head being the Jack of Clubs, trying to get all these different things completed. But I set a goal today for my business, especially to write out my detailed plan. I actually acquired my first client yesterday. So I knew today was the day to really drive it home and get everything complete. And I'm just so excited because literally everything you guys have said has been so accurate. And I'm so grateful and so thankful that I got up this morning and I've been listening constantly and I've been taking down notes. I mean, guys, I have like 6 pages of notes of everything you all were saying this morning because it's so detrimental and so inspiring to know that everything is literally within the cards and it's not a joke, it's not a lie, it's literally a blueprint.
Wow, that is so dope.
Cards don't lie. That's one thing I've learned very well. They do not lie.
They do not. And let me give you the icing cake. We're getting married on a Queen of Spades day.
Oh, wow. Snap. That is so powerful. Wow. That's so dope. That's
and like that's a Saturn relationship too, by the way. That's awesome. Yes, Saturn represents longevity. You know, it'll be a very long, beautiful, as long as you guys, abide to work together. Work together.
We have a business together, and it's funny because I've been reading his cards and I see that I am his karma card. So I owe him something in this life form. And it's funny because we really sit down and we converse. We work through those hardships. We see where we can help each other in uplifting each other.